Thank you for joining us this evening. My name's Kyle. I am the chief admin of the Whitfield Watchman. Today we have with us producer Brandon Cannon, ministry director for Soul Purpose Entertainment, and director Ashley Langston.
Thanks, Kyle, for having us here. We're humbled and honored to be here, and I appreciate what you do, and we're just thankful.
Yes, definitely. Thank you for having us.
So tonight you're going to tell us a little bit about your movie, Broken Gracefully. I'd like to know a little bit about the main theme and the message without spoiling anything, just the overarching.
Okay, well, the main theme here of the movie, well, let's do the log line first. So the log line of this movie is it's called, it's Broken Gracefully, as you said, and it's about two women who are on opposite sides of the faith. They're both broken, but they'll have their lives collide through a tragic accident, and in the end, God's grace will restore them. So it's really a movie about hope. It's about a movie about forgiveness. It's a movie about tragedy, but it's also a movie about triumph and just how God's grace can restore any situation if we just let Him.
So from what you're saying, it sounds like there's going to be a lot of character development over the course of beginning to the end of the movie.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And then for your visual style, what's your art style here that you're aiming for? Just the down and gritty, more realistic?
Yeah, I would say it's more on the dramatic side, more dark. And you may get into this question, so I don't mean to spoil it if you get into this question, but just to kind of give the viewers here a little bit of background on my style. I write from experiences and things that I've seen in my line of work, 20 years in the criminal justice system. And so I write from a real place. A lot of these faith-based movies out here, and there's no disrespect to them or the ones who make them because they've paved the way for us to be here. But, a lot of them are cookie cutter. And what I mean by that is just, there's always a happy ending.
Yeah.
Life's not that way. We understand that. There's going to be tragedy. And, but you can also find triumph amongst that tragedy, but it may not actually be a happy ending. So I write from a real life place.
That was something I was going to ask. Was it based on true events, or did you pull from multiple sources and tie it all together? Of course, all names have been changed for legal purposes.
For sure.
Let's see. Is there any of the key scenes throughout the movie that you was really proud of that really came together and drove the point home?
I'll let her take this, and then I may add something.
I think my favorite scene, well, actually there's two. One scene where one of our characters just kind of flips a switch. She goes from hysterical just to zero-minded and knows exactly what she's going to do, exactly how she's going to take care of something. And it's just amazing to have watched our actress that did that, about how she was just amazing. I was really proud of that moment. And then the second one is at the end of it, actually, and I think it was kind of the opposite. It's where you go from having shame and regret to peace. And just to see those two, I mean, they're polar opposites in the movie, and it's just, I'm proud of both of those scenes and the way that the actors portrayed those scenes. They done amazing.
Yeah, and I would just resonate with her statement there, especially the actress Amy. It was, when we was there that day, you just had to be there on that last shoot day because it was our last shoot day for the whole film. That was in July. It was the last scene. It wasn't the last scene in the movie. It was the last scene we shot for this particular movie. And, man, we only had to do one take with it because I don't know if we could have got another take the way we did in this movie with another take like she did. And it just so organically how she just transformed into to that place that we wanted her to go, that Ashley wanted her to get into. And, oh, man, it gives me chills every time when I've watched the movie a million times, figure of speech, editing it and stuff, but it's still, every time, man, it just brings chills to me. It's just, she did awesome.
And it's funny because she is nothing like her character. in real life, she is a happy, bubbly person, and she's just always there for anybody and everybody. And I give her a lot of credit because she did have to completely change her entire personality. So she did amazing.
Some of your best actors can really drive that performance home, make it seem like, you would never imagine them being polar opposites of how their character appears. You either love them or hate them, and if an actor can make you feel those emotions towards that character, they've done their job.
That's
Exactly.
right.
And there's quite a few in movies I've watched over the years that I was like, man, that right there is a performance.
Yeah.
And so that's great to hear. Now I'm guessing all your actors and stuff they're of the Christian faith as well and everything, so they can really feel that spirit whenever they're playing these parts.
Yes, sir. They're all local actors here, local folks from our church in Whitfield, Murray County, Ringgold area, just people that was willing to come and just be in it.
Any of the actors you knew prior to starting the movie, or did you find them as you went, as you started getting this production going?
All of them are local. All of them, most of them come from our church. We do have a few people that come from outside churches, or some of them work and know people. Brandon knew, and then, but with our next one, we're kind of doing things a little different for that.
Yeah, we're actually going to have an official casting call. We've met some people in the business that is higher up than we are on the chain of faith-based filming, and it's been great to learn from those folks, to see what areas we need to improve, because like I told you before, Kyle, when I messaged you, this ain't a business, it's a ministry first, but at the same time, we want to run it right. Correct. We want to make it professional. We want people to say, hey, man, Soul Purpose has got it going on. They got it going on for God. And they're doing it right, and it's professional, and it's not just a business or a ministry; it's family. We want to, that's what we want to make, is this family atmosphere. We don't want you as an actor to come and feel, man, I gotta do that scene or that. No, there will never be any sexual explicit conduct or any kind of language in my films, because the message we're trying to portray, that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to tell real life stories without all that stuff. We don't want to be Hollywood.
In this day and age, we have a lot of negativity always in the news. I know my page. I report a lot of the negativity and stuff. I'm trying to, and I know it's a big focus and it draws a lot of people in. Of course, my page is not monetized. I don't make a penny off of it. But I just try to get that news out there so people is informed. And so with your movie and everything, I know you was motivated to get a message out there, draw, for positivity and everything. And that's what the community needs right now. So, can you tell us a little more about your inspiration overall for this movie?
Yeah, man, just like you said, there's a lot of negativity in the world today, in our community, just here in Whitfield and Murray counties, Conasauga Circuit. Look around, look what we've experienced, without getting too deep into stuff, but look what we've experienced the last 4 years in this country. And I'm not trying to go down that rabbit hole. I'm not. That's not what I'm here to do. But if we can just bring a little hope and peace to the community and share the love of Jesus with others, like we're commanded to do, that's what we're here to do, man. We're just here to say, hey, you may be going through a situation. You may think it's bleak. You may think you have no way out. There's always a way out. And if we can just be a little hope for the community, and for the most part, that's what we do it for. Number one, Jesus, but number two, for the community. Yeah. Well, we love our community. We're both, she's a Whitfield County resident, Murray County resident, worked in Whitfield my whole life. I love this area. And I just want the area to know, hey, there's people doing some good things here. It ain't all just negative, Yeah. And, there's still positive out there. There's still light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak.
Rolling right into a negative. Right here, one of my questions is, can you share a challenging situation you faced on this project and you had to overcome?
Let me do this one, because it never fails. Every time, whether it was with the stage plays where we started out or with this movie, there's always something. Satan is always trying to derail anything that brings to light, Jesus and the wonderful sacrifice that he made for us. So we filmed with 2 cameras, because setting up, having a lot of different things, trying to catch stuff from different angles. So we used 2 cameras to catch 2 angles. Well, we were filming a big scene where we had already decided how we were going to set up cameras. We had practiced the night before, and we get there. He calls me that night because he's putting stuff on the he's charging batteries, he's doing things, and he's like, he calls me, he said, Langston, one of our cameras just quit. I said, what? He said, one of our cameras it won't come on. I've tried charging batteries, I've changed the battery, I've done everything. And this was a big scene where there was several people in the room, and we had this big elaborate idea of how things were going to go. And I mean, he was so distraught, and he was so upset. And I'm like, it's all right. God's got it. God, there's a reason. We'll film it a different way. Don't worry about it. We'll film it with one camera, and if it takes longer, that's fine. It's not a big deal. So we get there the next day, and I honestly think that the way we filmed it, because we only had one camera, I think it turned out better than what it would have had we had both cameras. But there are a lot of times that a lot of different things happen, and you have to figure out how to, 1, keep a positive attitude about it, and 2, just figure out a way, because sometimes things work out better when you have a bad situation.
Yeah. I'd end up flipping a table.
Well,
Yeah.
he was very upset.
Because it was a brand new camera.
Yeah.
I mean, I had just bought it like 3 months prior.
Yeah.
I heard you mention earlier about during one scene you was filming, it had a camera end up in a shot, and you had to edit that thing out. Let's see, what else we got here. Now, I know you mentioned, you funded this whole project yourselves and everything.
Yes, sir.
Is there any way that y'all want to try to recoup some of that right there? Can we, love donations or anything to help y'all, help your ministry?
Yes, sir. We both talked, and this movie is free, and she'll get into the details here in a minute about when it is and stuff. But this movie is free. We want the people to come. Number 1, to hear the gospel. Number 2, to say, hey, sole purpose is they're trying to be legit here. So we want them to have this free experience to say, hey, they mean business. This is their first one. And I will say this, we're not Marvel, okay? We had a $15,000 budget. You expect a Marvel movie, you ain't going to get a Marvel movie. But if you come looking for a good message of hope and peace and forgiveness, you're going to get it. The story's there. It's all there. I'm my own worst critic, but at the same time, I want people to understand, like, hey, this ain't Marvel. This is our first feature film ever. We're new at this. 2 years we've been at this. So, but go back to your question. Yes, we've talked about it, and it does cost money to make these things. I can't run out and do a loan every time to make one. I just can't. I can't put my family in that situation. Right. And we're just like any other ministry that goes and travels around, whether they sing or preach or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it does cost money to make these films. So, we would ask if people want to give a love donation, more than welcome to. We're not asking for it, but if they want to, they can make checks payable to Sole Purpose Entertainment, or they can give us cash. They can private message us on Facebook. We do have a Venmo account. I don't know if I can pull that up. And you can go ahead while I'm pulling that up if you got to say anything in regards to that.
We also are going to be selling some merch on our Facebook page. We do have a Facebook page, and on that Facebook page you can find behind the scenes pictures and things like that. But we do have merchandise, like the shirt he's got on his sweatshirt. It's our logo that we will put on, and we're going to do probably some tote bags because I made one and I really liked it, and I was like, I can make these for other people because I take care of me and Amber. Amber and Jason are another part of our group, and they can make shirts and I can make shirts. So we do those, and we'll be selling those. We can do hats and things like that. So there are ways that we are trying because it does cost money. Yeah. And I think it's a good ministry, and I might be a little biased, but
I'm going to have to get me a Whitfield Watchman shirt.
Yeah.
If you can send me your logo, I can do it.
She can make it. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
I can do it.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be a good idea. I pulled up our Venmo. It's S, capital S, the word soul, S-O-U-L, because we do play on words. I'm a big play on words guy. So
Yeah.
S-O-U-L, capital P, purpose, and then there's a capital E, and then N-T, 2024. So, and we can show this later. He can edit that in.
Yeah.
Or you can shoot it to me and I can get it posted in there as well.
That'd be great. Great
That would
idea.
be awesome.
Thank
We would appreciate that.
And again, none of our actors are paid. All volunteer, and this is a nonprofit, so to speak, because we don't make profit off the movie.
Correct.
Yeah.
But we would, like you said, we got to have money to make the next one.
Be a good tax write-off for somebody.
Yes.
That's true.
As a nonprofit.
Now tell me about y'all's soundtrack, the song that you sent me and everything. Who wrote that and who did the instrumentals
Okay, so
and everything?
we got a guy named Dana Yother. He's one of our characters in the movie. You probably seen him in the trailer. He was the one of the guys that says, we just got to trust in God. It'll get better. He wrote the song and composed the music. I put the video together, but he did all the lyrics, music. He's a tremendous artist. And I approached him. I said, hey, man, I'd like to have an original song for this movie. And he just, within a week, he had it knocked out. I was like, he's like, you don't want, I said, no, that's the song. You don't even got to do another one. That's the song. And he sent us a couple other versions. I said, no, that's the song.
And it has such an amazing message in it in itself. Like it could be, and it is a standalone in itself. Even without this movie, it is an amazing song. He done a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Tell me a little about the logistics. How many people is involved total with this film?
I don't think I've even counted. 20, I might be wrong because I've made shirts. I'm going to say 27, 30, 20, like 25 to 30 people.
Like herding cats.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Some of them are. This one right over here.
Yeah, and trying to get actors to understand, we told them too, like, hey, we had a table read in November of 23. This is when we started the production. November of 23, we had a table read, and we said, hey, we're sending your scripts home. We start filming in January. If you're in January, you better have them lines memorized. Because, it just makes a difference when you got those lines down.
And that's why I'll never be an actor. My memory is so full of holes. I always tell everybody, I have the memory of a goldfish. Don't even bother.
But they impressed us. Every one of them knew their lines. They did great.
And the only bad thing about that, and it's something that we I don't think we have any bloopers, nothing. Maybe I know we've got some stuff, but we didn't film, on Fridays before we do our filming on Saturday, we would go and we would have practice and we would move things around. I would block everybody and I would block him as well as far as moving around with the camera and stuff. Now we would have funny moments those nights, but we weren't filming. So we have no bloopers and that's hard. So I'm glad that we've got a lot of pictures because there's really no.
Yeah, I really thought we'd have more bloopers, but everybody was on. When they come on set on Saturday, it was.
We'll be thankful I wasn't in the cast. It wouldn't be bloopers, it'd be bleepers.
It's funny.
The old Marine in me would be coming out.
That can happen. It does get intense because everybody does want to do their best and everybody wants to be, nobody wants to be the one where you go, cut, and they're like, oh man, I know it was me, I'm sorry. Nobody wants to be that person.
Yeah. You definitely never want to be the one to screw up. So,
yeah.
Because you waste time and you get people's egos start clashing, and I can understand that very well.
That happened on the first night we filmed in January. That happened in January. Somehow News Channel 9 got involved. They knew we were shooting a movie up in Cuda. It was okay, but they made it like this big old movie star was coming in town. Streets were shut down. They did shut the streets down for us because we had a wreck scene we had to stage up there. And we had to get EMS up there to help us. And we got Cuda Police Department. They've been very gracious too.
Yes.
Anytime we need something, Cuda Chief Fowler's like, hey, you can use my stuff. Come on up here. We want that, So, but people found out, oh, there's a movie being shot up there. What's going on up here? And I had to get on Facebook, make a disclaimer, look, yes, but you got to understand we're a small company. This ain't Hollywood. So, but that night, News Channel 9 was on scene trying to film stuff. She was down at the bottom working with other actors. I was up top shooting a scene. camera fell off the car during one point. I'm like, oh man, all this stuff's going on. It was just the first night, you know. But you can see as the film progresses, we got better and better and better every film day because we learn more and we learn from our mistakes from the first night. Okay, we're not going to do it in the second night. Okay, we're not going to do it in the third time. And the time we got to the end of the movie, oh, we know how to do it now. We're good.
Yeah. Our first mistake there was we separated.
Yes. Should have never had the director away from me.
No. No, because okay, both of us are somewhat perfectionist. We want it perfect, both of us. I would say both of us are almost OCD. Not all the way, but close. So he wanted, it had to be perfect. Had to be perfect. Well, camera batteries run down pretty quick. So if I would have been there, I'd have said, hey, look, we'll shoot this some other time. There are 1 million dark roads in Whitfield County or Marin County. All we need is a dark road. Not a big deal. But we were not together. And I didn't want to call and be like, hey, we've got a lot of stuff that we've got going on down here. I need y'all back down here. Because I was like, well, what if they're filming and they've got this great take going and then the phone rings? I didn't want to be that person. So, you know, it was kind of like we should not have separated because we kind of work better together than we do separate.
And that happened real quick. I know we got to move on, but that happened when we was coming down the bottom of the hill. Had this great take. My actress Melissa had this great take in the car. She's coming down the bottom of the hill, and again, it was supposed to be this way. They had put the cones out to block the road from other traffic, and we couldn't get through because the cones were there. And she had this great take coming down the hill, and I was like, no, the cones are in the way.
We needed her to drive all the way down the hill, and they couldn't get through because the cones were there. And
we had to cut it, and and I threw the cones off the road. I was so mad, and I was like, all right. And it's like, just calm down, you'll be all right. And I'm like, that was such a good take, and we can't use it now.
So no creative differences, no arguments over that?
No.
No, not really, and that's surprising because I mean, we do sometimes, and then when we stop for a second, we say okay, and I've told him, I'm like, look, you know the camera, you know how to move the camera, you know how to do what you want, like what you think needs to be done. I know what I see in my head from what you've written, so what we have to do is we have to find a compromise and we have to figure out how to make this work where you're happy with the camera work that you do, but I'm happy with what it looks like as a whole. So we can get there, but we normally try to stop and just say, okay, wait a minute. Let's chill out a minute and let's figure this out and not butt heads.
Well, that's what I told her, like she's the director. She's in charge of the set. I'm the cinematographer. I just do what the director's supposed to do. And that's what we tell people. Hey, the director's in charge. That's what we got to realize. Hey, and I have to find myself. All right, you're right. You're the director. I got to be quiet. Because sometimes I want to step in because, but at the same time I got to realize, hey, I delegated this responsibility. I need to let her do her job. So.
Was there any time that you really had to draw out the performance, any of the actors, to get them the emotion that you wanted to convey? Or
I'm trying to think back of... No, everybody took direction really well. Mm-hmm. And I think that goes back to everybody that was in this project wanted to be there. They loved what they were doing. So when I had to say, okay, look, here's what I'm thinking. Here's the way I would like to see you do this. Here's the way Brayden and I have talked, and this is kind of the way we see this character. Everybody pretty much stayed on board and really got into that character. They let their self go and really got into that character. And so, I mean, it was pretty easy with most everybody.
Yeah, it was. It was a good experience with them.
All right. So, just tell us about the showings, what time they're going to be starting, how many seats are going to be available?
So we're showing at the Colonnade in Ringgold, February 8th. Mm-hmm. We're showing this February 7th and 8th, but all of our tickets for February 7th are gone.
That's our red carpet night.
That's our red carpet premiere. Everybody's going to be there dressed up all snazzy. not excited about that, but they're making me, so. I'm more of a blue jeans kind of person. I don't like dresses, and I got told as that I had to, so. But February 8th, we have 2 showings, so.
And maybe you can do this on your.
Yeah,
We
you
can show
it
us later, but we
closer.
got 2 tickets here.
So we're showing at 4:00 which is our matinee. How many tickets do you think we got left for
On
that?
the matinee, we probably got, besides our Friday night showing, that was our second fastest selling show. We've probably got 150 left, maybe 130-ish, between that number.
So again, and then we show again February 8th at 7:30. We probably got how many of those tickets
Got about
left?
210, 215 left of those.
And if you want a ticket, reach out to Soul Purpose Entertainment through Messenger and ask them for some tickets.
Yes, because we are using the Colonnade, we are bound by their fire marshal code, and we're only allowed to have 500 people inside the theater for each showing.
Yes.
So we've got 500 tickets. You have to bring your ticket back with you that night.
Yes.
Or at that showing because, again, we're limited to 500 people. If we have extra tickets and you don't have a ticket and you come, then if we have extra tickets, we'll let you in. We don't want to be mean, and we're not trying to be mean. It's just we don't want to get shut down before we can even get started by having too many people in the building.
Yeah, so just bring those tickets because they have workers there that are going to be taking them up and
Yes.
counting them. And again, like she said, I don't want to get in that predicament, but if you come, well, I got a ticket, well, where's it at? Well, I don't have it. You got to have a ticket to get in.
Gotta have the physical ticket.
Yes,
That's right.
definitely.
All right, is there anybody else you want to reach out to or give a shout out to, give them thanks for all this?
Just all of our cast and crew, our families that supported us through this long journey. Kyle, this is, like I said, November 2023. We've been at it between table read till post-production. I mean, we've had to learn a lot of it ourselves. So, our family's been patient with us. We've done a lot of tours for this movie. We started in December with all these local churches we went. We're gracious to all of them that let us come and speak at their church. I don't have time to name all of them, but they know who they are. Again, a cast and crew, you for allowing us to come speak. And the last thing I'll say, and if she's got anything else, that's fine. Last thing I'll say is if anybody out there feels like, hey, I want to help out. You may not be able to help out with money, that's fine. But if you're like, hey, I want to help out. I want to be working on that set. I want to learn how to run a camera. I want to learn how to run a sound pack or a gaffer, which is lighting. I want to help somebody light a scene, or I want to be an actor or an actress. Come on, please. Message us on Facebook. We'd love to have you. Anything you can do, we'll take you. We'd love to have you. Like I said, we're a family here. We want to make this thing grow, Kyle, that people like, man, Soul Purpose Entertainment is doing this for God, and they're also doing it because they love people and they love the community, and they're wanting to just continue to share positivity with great storytelling. That's what we want. We want to grow this thing, man.
Well, you heard the man. He's giving you an opportunity, so take him up on it. And with that, I'd like to thank Brandon and Ashley for coming out and joining us for our very first interview for the Whitfield Watchman. And remember, we are watching.